Good morning, Cardinals fans. I'm Tara Wellman. This is Bird Seeds. Hope you've got your coffee this morning. If you're new here, thanks for joining us. Welcome. I cover the St. Louis Cardinals for birdsontheblack.com, and I create daily and weekly videos right here on YouTube, all with the goal of keeping you in the loop and entertained. Today, that is in the form of the retelling of what happened with the St. Louis Cardinals on the field against the Pirates last night. This is about last night, so without further ado. Whatever the magic fairy dust was that the equipment guys sprinkled on the bats last night, they better have plenty of it in stock. Here are some stats from last night to get things started. From Jeremy Frank at MLB Random Stats, the Cardinals are only the third team of this century to score at least 17 runs without hitting a triple or a home run. Let that sink in. 17 runs, no triples, no homers. From Stats by Stats, the last time the Cardinals scored 15 plus runs against the Bucks without hitting a homer was August 5th of 1901. And from Fox Sports Midwest, in the previous 22 innings coming into last night's game, the Cardinals were 1 for 4 with runners in scoring position. Last night alone, they went 11 for 25. That's a lot of runners in scoring position. Yes, the Cardinals outscored the Pirates 17-4. This is where you would insert the meme of, "You're probably wondering how I got here." But don't worry, I'ma tell you. Honestly, last night's game felt like the St. Louis Cardinals were taking out all of the previous week's frustrations on poor Joe Musgrove and the Pirates. Now, if you watched the series preview that I did with Alex Stump, you know we talked about Joe Musgrove and the fact that he was kind of the marquee piece in the Garrett Cole trade, and he's pitched pretty well so far this year, until last night, that is. There are high hopes for Joe Musgrove. The Cardinals just didn't get that memo. Musgrove lasted only 3 innings, was tagged for 8 runs on 6 hits and 5 walks. And for the Pirates, it didn't get much better after he left the game. Clay Holmes came in to try to clean up the mess, but instead walked in one of his inherited runners, then allowed a single and a double with an E5 sandwiched in between. And by the end of the 4th inning, it was 11-2 Cardinals. The 6th inning was another big breakthrough as a pair of doubles with runners aboard tacked on 5 more St. Louis runs. In fact, the Cardinals scored in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 6th, and 8th innings last night on the way to their 17 total runs. And if you're wondering who got their work in to put those runs on the board, well, it'd be easier if I told you who didn't, but that's not as much fun. Every single starting position player picked up at least 1 hit and scored at least 1 run. Paul Goldschmidt finally got off the schneid, going 3 for 5 with a walk, driving in 2 runs, and finally putting an extra base hit by his name. It had been a while. Jeff Jones tweeted after the game that this 3-hit night for Goldie is only his 3rd as a Cardinal, and the only one that has not come against the Milwaukee Brewers. Marcell Ozuna and Kolten Wong both had good nights too, each driving in multiple runs. But it may have been the tandem of Dexter Fowler and Yadier Molina that was the most impressive. Molina got the scoring started, driving in the first run of the game, and he'd end the night 3 for 4 with 2 RBI. He also scored 3 of those runs himself. Fowler followed suit, driving in the 3rd and 4th runs on a ground rule double to right. He would pick up another base knock to jumpstart the scoring surge in the 5th inning, too. But basically, pick a name and they contributed to scoring somewhere up or down the lineup. And while I haven't mentioned the Cardinals' pitching just yet, Michael Wacha was fine. He went 5 2/3, gave up 4 earned runs, walked 1, struck out 2. And then John Gant, Dominic Leone, and John Brebbia teamed up to pitch the remaining 3 1/3 innings scoreless. I do want to give a shout out to the defense of Paul DeJong. It's been a rough couple of days defensively for the shortstop. Really, for the entire infield, but nonetheless. But he made a play last night, ranging as far to his left as I've ever seen him. And I'm not sure, actually I'm quite sure, he would not have made that play last year. It seems like range is something you don't often see a guy add, at least not demonstratively, to his repertoire as he goes through a major league career, but that's exactly what Paul DeJong is doing. I hesitate to say he's as rangy as Kolten Wong right now, but he's making a case. And perhaps at some point the #good will be applied to the middle infield as a whole, not just Kolten Wong. All I know is that Paul DeJong is an all-star and then some at this point, and it is crazy impressive. Is it more or less impressive than scoring 17 runs in the series opener? Let me know in the comments below, which is more impressive. Now, one game does not a full recovery make, but it is nice to see that that run-scoring power is still there, even if it's at the hand of mostly poor pitching performances by the opponent. So that is the story of the St. Louis Cardinals and their history-making 17-4 victory on Thursday night, pushing their season record to 22-16. Tonight, it's Trevor Williams for the Pirates up against Adam Wainwright for the St. Louis Cardinals, and honestly, I would not even pretend to try to predict what we're going to get out of this matchup. So I guess we'll just have to watch and see. And if you don't, check back here tomorrow so I can tell you about it. I'll see you then.